of the most thrilling things about our life with animals is getting to experience it all as a family. We've been very fortunate so far, and there's always something exciting happening. Watching our girls grow up around all of this is something that can't really be put into words. But this time around, they're going to get to experience something pretty epic because we're about to grow the Garden State Tortoise family in a very, very big way.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi. Where are we going?
Sushi, where are we going?
Where are we going, kiddo?
We're going to get a turtle.
That's right.
What kind of turtles?
Galapagosaurus.
Galapagosaurus. Galapagos. Can you imagine if we were going to the airport to pick up
That would be insane.
dinosaurs? Actually, we kind of are.
Yeah, and I mean, this is pretty insane.
Yeah, more than insane.
Yeah, this is the gift of a lifetime. I don't even know where to start, except that there's a sanctuary in Florida called 3J's Tortoise Sanctuary, and it is owned by our friends John Heidecker and Jason Abels, and they do an over-the-top incredible job with breeding the one and only Galapagos tortoises. They're involved in genetic work, seed dispersal studies, you name it.
So cool.
It's amazing. You got to follow Jason's Instagram account. Aside from Galapagos tortoises, they breed radiated tortoises and some other species. The photos and videos that they post are incredible.
Really, really cool people doing really, really cool things with the coolest animals ever.
Stuff in my face over here.
I need to stuff my face. I'm starving.
So, we have a little bit of a history with big tortoises, the giant tortoises. You guys know we have Mickey, who's our Aldabra tortoise, who is going to be 7 years old, or 8.
You're gonna be 8.
You're gonna be 8 years old. And he is our family pet. We cherish him very much. Casey is an ex-zookeeper.
Yeah.
And she worked with some tortoises that could lift a car,
Coffee.
probably.
Yeah, I worked with 2 big, beautiful Aldabra tortoises, and they're just, you're almost in awe of their presence because you look at them and you see a dinosaur. You see just Mother Nature at its best, in my opinion. They're one of my favorites.
One of them stepped on you, right?
Yeah. Fred stepped on my foot.
You ready? We're at Southwest Airlines Cargo. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna see what they have for us.
Go ahead, please.
Go.
You excited?
Yeah.
All right. Ready? Okay, watch out. All right. There's a note from John. It says, Chris, keep doing what you do. You inspire me to do more. Holy cow. Yeah, look. Hey, Ellie. Yeah. Be very careful, right? Yeah, sharp nails.
I like the sharp nails.
Are they not beautiful?
They are beautiful.
And what are these?
Galapagos.
Galapagos tortoises.
Galapagos tortoise.
What do you think, girl?
I think
Hold them upside down. Like that, right?
wow.
Can you say thank you to John and Jason?
Thank you for John and Jason. Yeah. Ah, cousin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be Jack and Sally. And then
Aw.
I need my baby Sally.
Okay, so this is Jack, and this is Sally.
Yes.
Okay. I think
Let's
it's
see what else. I think there's
perfect.
other things in here from John. Oh, and here's our donation for the Leone family's efforts in conservation and education.
What's up?
Thank you guys so much. So to get you guys up to speed, the Galapagos Islands were first discovered in 1535, but they didn't appear on any maps until 1570. Back then, they called them the Insulae or Insulae de los Galapagos. That translates to Islands of the Tortoises. In history, there have been 14 to 15 described species of Galapagos tortoise, even though back then they thought all the giant tortoises, even the ones from the Indian Ocean, were all the same. But in today's world, there are only 12 surviving species. In 2012, Lonesome George, who was the last of his kind, sadly passed away. Now, of the surviving 12 species of Galapagos tortoise, 5 of them all occur on the volcanoes of the Isabella Island, while the others all remain on separate islands. And there's a lot of speculation and things that have gone on over the years concerning the taxonomy and understanding of Galapagos tortoises, and as recently as 2019, Forrest Galante discovered the extinct Fernandina tortoise. Several Galapagos tortoise populations are facing extinction, and they are in fact very endangered. Now, when it comes to those in captivity, by the time there was any realization as to these separate species and populations of tortoise, the zoos that initially acquired the adults were mixing them. So in today's world, the vast majority of Galapagos tortoises in captive collections are in fact actually hybrids. But they're still included in very important genetic programs, even the tortoises that produced our 2 new babies, because some of them are said to contain the DNA of the extinct populations, which means one day, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance they could resurrect one of these extinct populations, or at least an individual. No idea how that works. That's next level conservation for you, as Jason Abels would put it. So needless to say, these beautiful little tortoises that were just gifted to us, and of course the incredible adults that produce them, are in fact very, very important to the survival of the Galapagos tortoise. So I'm sure some of you are wondering just what 3J's Tortoise Sanctuary does with Galapagos tortoises, because I mean, it's certainly not every day that you're going to hear of people working with or breeding the world's most famous giant of the turtle and tortoise world. Well, let me be the first to tell you that they do some tremendous work. And if you remember from earlier in this video, I explained how today's captive Galapagos tortoises are considered hybrids or crosses, since the zoos mixed the original adults all together, meaning they bred together. But these animals still hold value for the distant future of the species because of what their DNA can or may hold. Now, after triple redundant DNA studies, meaning they triple check things, the tortoises of 3J's Sanctuary are in the stud book for the Galapagos tortoise. That's a big deal if you're even remotely familiar with how stud books work, especially for endangered animals. Having testing done on their adults adds to the global understanding of them as a whole, and 3J's has done Galapagos tortoise genetic work with both the University of Arizona and Yale University. They've also been a part of a DNA study on conservation genetics with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, or AZA, and the Henry Dorley Zoo. This is extra interesting for us because in 2015, we did our own genetic study with the Henry Dorley Zoo on more than 50 of our Herman's tortoises that reside right here at GST. To add to this already impressive list, 3J's follows conservation breeding as directed by the AZA because they have a very rare Isabella Island giant Galapagos tortoise, also known as the Iguana Cove tortoise, that's on breeding loan at the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. Last but not least, 3Js has participated in a seed dispersal study and the role giant tortoises play with the University of Miami, and that's going to be presented at a symposium in Brazil in 2024. So it's no joke, folks. These guys do some incredible stuff with and for Galapagos tortoises. So as I said earlier, we're no stranger to giant tortoises. This one right here has worked with some absolute monsters. And we're sitting here right now with one of our future monsters, and this is Mickey. He is our Aldabra tortoise. He's 8 years old, and right now we're just giving him a little reward of banana. But it's important that you never go nuts with fruit when it comes to these tortoises. There's a lot of health issues that can come about if you keep giving them fruit. They of course love it, but it's just like us eating ice cream all the time. Something I should stop eating as much as I do. What? But when it comes to an animal, wildlife like this, you really got to be careful. You got to keep them on a proper diet, and that's something that has to happen from the get-go. And they basically have to imprint on that because you want them to find the right food items as something that's familiar to eat so that they'll enjoy it. Because like I said, it's kind of like candy to them, so of course they're going to love it. Jack and Sally, regardless, are going to get huge, and Mickey, who's only 8 years old, is nowhere near done growing. Now, when it comes to planning, this is something that we talked about early on before we even attempted to look into getting a giant tortoise. We're in New Jersey, southern New Jersey. The good news is these animals get to live outside typically from April through Halloween, depending on the year we get. They have to come inside at some point. You cannot leave these tortoises outside during a New Jersey winter. The good news is, again, that they do get plenty of time outdoors under the natural sun, but once they come inside, you're talking about a pretty high electric bill and a lot of work. So don't ever get one of these tortoises unless you can absolutely provide for them regardless of where you are, right?
Right.
It's not just about the proper housing of them too. Feeding them is a big task. These animals eat a lot of food, and that means very, very huge poop. So if you guys notice now, Jack and Sally's shells are completely cleaned off. What they had on earlier when we initially received them was a very safe, non-toxic paint that breeders typically use so that they can identify the babies. They all pretty much look the same when they come out. And being a Galapagos tortoise, you know, you're only going to really be colored black as an adult with a little bit of brown or gray. So they use that so they know who is who, and that's important, especially when you're doing genetic work. So no foul, no harm, and their shells are now perfectly clean. The giant Galapagos and Aldabra tortoises are remarkable creatures that have captivated the entire planet since they were first discovered. Being able to have them here as part of our family and to be able to watch them grow up with our own children is going to be insane. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts to 3J's Tortoise Sanctuary for everything that they do for Galapagos tortoises and for gifting us 2 of our very own. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to watching our Galapagos tortoises grow up. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell icon for notifications, and we will see you in the next video.